at the point of birth, really, I knew it was going to be a journey. So when I said the process started, him growing, and of course, at the point of pregnancy, you're thinking, okay, at this stage he's going to be able to do this, at this age he's going to be able to do this, and then we got to realize, okay, he's not doing this, this is not happening. And of course, like I said earlier, it was doctor's appointment to another appointment. So at each appointment they'll tell you, okay, at this age, let's see if he'll be able to do this. If he's not able to do this, you come back. And of course, one of those appointments, we got to the hospital and they're like, you know what, this is what is going on. And because it had never happened, I've never heard of it before, we're wondering, okay, what's the meaning of this? And this our age is Google age. Once they mention something, just go on your phone, what is this? And then we read up on that and we just knew this is a lifetime journey. There's no running away from it, except by the help of God. So we got to know, I think, roughly about 4 months. And I think the first thing he was referred to was therapy, physiotherapy. And, that was when the journey started. That was when we knew. And we just thought it was going to be a walk in the park. Maybe when he gets to this age, things will get better. But, it wasn't it. So really, that was the discovery. And from then on, it's been discovery to discovery, because you learn, for each doctor that comes to see him, there's a new discovery. Okay, you need to do this, you need to add this, you need to start this, you need to stop this. So really, it's discovery every day. I don't think the discovery ends. After the discovery, like I said, it was, what are we going to do? There's no ending to this, really. And I think my major fear was, how am I going to take care of my son? And considering the environment that we're in, Nigeria is not an inclusive environment. That's the truth. And I just thought, what's going to happen? Because when you have a child, you have dreams, you have hopes, you have expectations. Even before having that child, you're already thinking, this is the school my child is going to attend, this is how my child is going to be dressing, this is the type of dress I want my child to be wearing, and all of that. And then you are faced with this situation where it's like going to be limited and all of that. So my major concern really was the environment. How is he going to go to school? Is he going to be able to read? Is he going to be able to write? Is he going to be able to interact with other people? Who is going to take care of him when I'm gone? You think about those things and you're like, I'm not wishing death for myself now, but those things, they're realities of life, really. Because you're thinking, even if I'm able to take care of this child, when I'm not there, who is going to be able to do that for my child? Is my child going to be accepted? Is my child going to be loved? What about having friends, relationships? Is he going to be able to get married, have children? Really, there were so many things, running through my mind, and it was like, okay, I mean, really, this journey, what can we do? What can we do, really? Should I run away? I've actually had thoughts of running away and all of that. Should I just run away and then nobody will find me? Let me go start a new life somewhere else and all of that. But, really, those are valid fears. Even when you don't have visible, visible disabilities, we all have fears. And, those are really one of my fears, taking care of my child and making sure, he has a good life, a very, very good life. For acceptance, really, I'm not going to sit here and say maybe I accepted it at first. Really, because like I said previously, at some point I wanted to run away. But you just get to a point in life where you just know, maybe this is just my journey. And I have a very deep Christian background, and I've come to accept the good from God and the bad too, quote and unquote. It's not all a bed of roses, and maybe this is just my own cross to carry. I always tell people, if everything about our life is good, then we don't need God. So of course you have those times when, let's see how much you really trust in God like you say you do. So of course I had to come to terms with it, accept the fact that he's my son, he's not going anywhere, there's nothing I can do about it. There were times that I was angry, angry. When you say anger, deep rooted anger, angry at myself, angry at my husband, angry at my family members, because I just thought, at that point of vulnerability, during labor, why didn't you people make maybe like a different decision on my behalf, to have averted the situation and all of that. I was really angry. And of course, that anger at some point was projecting towards my son. And they say that you go through different stages of grief. So of course, the first place is you're angry, you're bitter, you're all of that. There were days I would just sit out and cry. There were days I would just look at him and be like, you know what, I am not even having anything to do with you today because I just can't deal with it. But all of that passed, and I'm really not going to sit here and say I did it all by myself. I'm grateful for an amazing support system. I'm not going to, the place of education is very important. Like I said, nobody knew about this. All my life, I never heard about cerebral palsy until it happened. Same with my family. So of course, it put all of us on our toes. We now started to read, okay, so what it is that, we have to start doing? Is it therapy? What medical attention can we give him? And, that was when the journey started. And for acceptance with, family members, they've been fantastic. I'm not, the place of a support system is I can't, overemphasize that. If God has blessed you with amazing family members, just take it, because you really can't do everything on your own. And, considering this type of situation, so we had to come to terms with it and start looking for ways, we could help him. And with dealing with the society, dealing with external parties, maybe because I'm a very strong individual, it's very hard for you to just walk up to me and say certain things or behave anyhow, quote and unquote. I would have your response ready. So maybe that's also why God put him in my life, because he knows, oh, you have a Voltron mommy that can stand for you anywhere. Nobody's going to say anything or treat you anyhow. So acceptance has been, very good, because there's a saying that how you treat your dog is the way other people will treat your dog. So if you treat what you have in a very horrible way, other people will treat that thing in a very horrible way too. So maybe because they also see the way I treat my son, I go all out for him, I respect him as an individual, I love him, I do everything I can for him. I don't speak to him anyhow. Like I said, I respect him as an individual, so I talk to Damisi as an individual. I respect his feelings. I've gone all out to know what he likes, to know his love language, to know his learning style. So if I've put in that effort and I love my son and I respect my son, I don't expect anything less from any other person. So acceptance has been really, really, really good. I don't think I've been to a place where they are one kind towards my son. I have not I've not particularly experienced that. Sometimes I even look forward to experiencing that. So maybe that will be my opportunity of educating someone. But so far, so good. Acceptance has been fantastic. Very, very memorable. So when I say memorable, I'm including the good and the bad. So it's not just the good side of it. Of course, the bad side of it. Sometimes when I think about the journey from when he was born, sometimes I laugh, sometimes I cry. I remember when it all started, we were at Lasuf for like 2 weeks, and my car was my home. That was where I was eating. If I needed to watch a movie, I'll watch a movie there. If I needed to pump milk for him, I was doing everything in my car. I would have my bath in the hospital, come and dress up in the car. So when I think about those things, they just form part of the memory. from all of that to, starting therapy, there were days I would go to Lasuth and I would just be crying because, as we all know, Lasuth is a general hospital. So you see different things, you see different cases. And I remember there was a particular day I asked myself, what am I even doing here? I'm not doing this again. And that was the last day I went to Lasuth. Not because I couldn't, but at that point, my mental health was, was being affected, because it wasn't just me taking him for therapy. It was me also seeing different things that I couldn't bear at that moment. So I just made up my mind that, I wasn't going. And I remember then people thought I was crazy. Like, this is what he needs. Why? So I'm like, I'm not doing this again. So that, in my memory, would I say my memory stick concerning the situation. And then of course the progress, the journey so far. Damisi goes to school, and I've had even doctors say, why are you taking him to school? Let him concentrate on therapy. And I tell them, no, he's doing everything. Yes, it could be a 70-30 equation, but he will do everything he needs to do, because I'm not going to treat him any different. As far as I'm concerned, he's a human being, he's a normal human being, so he's going to do everything he's supposed to do. And from taking him to different doctors' appointments, I've had Damisi go to the UK, I've had Damisi go to India for treatments, just so that we can give him the best of. So it's been a journey. The memory is bittersweet, and the memory continues. I also remember when during COVID, when we had to enter Damisi for a competition, people thought I was crazy, really. And we just saw the poster, and I just made up my mind, you know what, I'm putting Damisi in for this competition. I don't care if people are going to vote based on sentiment or anything. He is entering this competition. And we set up the lights, camera, turned my kitchen into a studio, and we entered the competition. And at the end of the day, we won the competition. So when I think about that, I'm like, how bad can it get, really? And I also want him to grow up and let me have stories to tell him. Let him be able to look back and see what the journey has been like. Let him also hear what the journey has been like. So memories are amazing, really. From also having therapists that are just after your money, and some of them will just come and give you diagnoses that are not. So it's been an experience that I honestly wouldn't trade for anything. It's the point where we were able to confirm that he can, would I say he can, let me be specific now, that he has the possibility of walking. So I remember a therapy session we went for, and they do all these assessments, and therapists they'll usually tell you if eventually a child will be able to do a particular thing. A child that has CP will be able to do a particular thing. And I remember we went to this therapist, and he was like, oh, this is fantastic. His legs are, I can't remember the medical term now, but the long and short of it was that he has the ability to walk, that there's a possibility of him walking. So it might not be now, but the possibility is there. And that spurred us on to do more, really. So even when we have therapists come in and we ask questions, and they say the same things, the next thing we're asking is, okay, so what do we need to do to achieve this? So it's, when it comes to this kind of situation, you agree with me that you're not looking for the big wins as such, the little ones that eventually lead to the big one. So you're looking forward to the very little one. So when we got that news, and that would I say that diagnosis, we're like, okay, that's a good one. So at least it will help us channel our energy, channel our strength, to this particular thing. At least if we can achieve this, we'll know that that box is ticked off, and then we can move on to something else. Damisi enjoys doing everything apart from therapy. So he likes to swim, he likes to play, he likes to be involved in everything. So a lot of times when we're doing things and it's like, okay, let's just leave him out, he's protesting. So he enjoys everything apart from therapy. So when it's therapy time, he's not smiling at all, he's not happy at all. But give him any other thing, even homework, he enjoys doing homework. And I love the fact that the school also gives him homework to do, so he's not left out or anything, so he enjoys everything. His strength, would I say, he's just a happy-go-lucky child. Damisi will smile at everybody and at anything. Really, he's just happy. I think that's one major strength he has. He's he's a happy soul. He's a happy child. He doesn't have anything that upsets him as such. And maybe that's just on a lighter note, but on a more serious note, Damisi is, I see him as a very would I say a very deep, I'm looking for the right word now really, but his intuitions are very deep, very deep. Because he laughs at everybody, if somebody comes into his space and Damisi is not happy with you, if he's not giving you the warm welcome, then trust me, there's definitely something wrong with that individual. This is not even to say, are you being overly spiritual or anything, but I can confidently say that even as much as when I have to hire nannies or people who work with me, it is from Damisi that I will know if this person is going to stay or not. There's just something, and I thinking about it now, that's a major strength that he has. So if Damisi is not smiling, if he's not happy at an individual, I'm having second thoughts about that person. So apart from the fact that he's always happy, there's no low, there's no sad moments with Damisi. He has that deep intuition to him. I think it's just one hope really, and that's that you should have a good life, irrespective of what that is, because I know that's relative. A good life could mean something to me, could mean something to another person. And good life in the sense that he has, if this doesn't go away, because sometimes you have to come to that reality, he just has people who will support him, who will help him in the areas they need to help him. Really, that's my hope for him. At the end of the day, when I'm not here, when his dad is not here, he will have amazing people around him to help him, and for him to just live best life possible. And my concerns really is more of a societal concern, and I'm hoping that eventually Nigeria will get to that point where it is it is 100% inclusive. And I always tell people that everybody has a disability. Some are just visible and some are not. Disability is not just in the physical aspect or in the very visible aspect. Some people have things that they cannot eat. If they attempt to eat it, there's going to be a problem. That's, in my own opinion, that's special needs on its own. You have to meet that need in a special way. Meaning, if I'm going to cook this, I cannot include this because it's going to affect this person, and the results won't be good. So everybody has a special need in one way, or the other. So my concern is just a more inclusive society, and everyone is accepted. In terms of, when you're making legislations, when you're making laws, when you're building structures, everybody must be put into consideration. So that's the major concern I have for him, and I'm just hopeful. I am very hopeful, and I believe that, he's going to get the best, out of life. He's going to live his best life. He might not be able to physically write that book, but he can become an author, because these days you have people who write for you, sell your ideas to them, tell them how you want it to, and they write the book for you. So at the end of the day, I am hopeful that he's going to get that support he needs. And I believe strongly that eventually, with initiatives like this, Nigeria will become more inclusive. For anyone in this phase, I think the first thing I'll tell you is cry if you need to cry, grieve if you need to grieve. You're allowed to. your tears are valid. That's the truth. So you really need to go through that phase if you need to. Cry if you have to. Allow yourself soak in, the pain, the disappointment, because if you don't come to that point, you will still meet it in front, like they always say. So taking that moment, and then you need to get yourself up. Nobody's going to help you get yourself up. So just like the Bible says, David encouraged himself in it. You need to encourage yourself. You need to get yourself up. You need to get to that place mentally where you are able to do this. Because the truth is, you're going to meet with a lot of disappointments. People that you think should support you, people that you think should help you, they won't. That's the truth. I've had a family member say all sorts, about my child, and being the vulture like I am, that person, you can't go scot-free. So people will disappoint you. So you must also give room for that. You must educate yourself. That's very important. You must educate, you must read. Like I said, nobody in my family knew about this. There's been no, case of, would I say, disability, quote and unquote, in my family. So it was very new. But I remember there were times, my dad will wake up in the night and he's on the internet surfing. Okay, what can be done? What can we do? And then by the morning, he's already sending us articles. Okay, why don't you try this? Why don't you try this hospital? And all. So you must educate yourself. That's very important. You must educate, because there are new discoveries every day. And you want to make sure you're giving your child the best. So educate yourself. Another thing you should do is ask for help when you need help. And I say that with a lot of caution. And that's because help these days can be dangerous. So make sure you're certain about the help that, or should I say the source from where you want that help to come from. Make sure you're sure about it. You don't just randomly ask people for help. So be sure, be certain in your spirit that this is a good place to ask for help. Ask for help. You can't do it on your own. So you must ask for help and be ready to receive help. And I say this, that I am a very, very independent person. So when the issue happened, I just knew that I had to throw away independence, to the bin and all of that. So ask for help when you need to. Receive help when people offer to. Some people will genuinely offer to help you. Please receive that help. There's a reason why they have come to help you. Make sure you receive that help. Don't feel, let me use the word as it is. Don't be proud to receive the help. Receive help when it comes and keep moving. You can't afford to stop, really. Keep moving. And for every opportunity you have to speak to people about it, whatever the disability is, please educate people. You have some people who genuinely will come and ask you, oh, what's going on? What happened? That is an opportunity, for you to educate them. If you educate one person, be rest assured that the next person is educated, because they would also be able to say, oh, this is what the situation is. And so it's like, it has a ripple effect. So it goes round, and at the end of the day, we all benefited. So, educate people when you have the opportunity to. Ask for help when you need to. Receive the help that comes your way, and keep moving. And above all, I'm not even going to lie, just make sure you are tied to God. I'm not being too spiritual, but it is only in God that you keep having that strength. That is, for me, that's my source of strength, really, because there are days I'm just down and it seems as if everything is going well, but it's really not going well. And I just go back to God, and I just feel refreshed somehow, because what I do is I just tell God at the end of the day, so he may be bearing my name, but he's your child at the end of the day. So you need to do what you gotta do. So really, just have God, helping you. Keep praying, keep trusting God, and don't let anybody say anything negative about your child. That's also very important. Words are very powerful. Words are very powerful. Words are life. They are life. So anything they say, if it's negative, please always be ready to counter it. If it's positive, yes, reaffirm that in the life of your child. But make sure you are standing strong and firm. If you need therapy, even for yourself, please like I said, get help. Don't let anybody shut you down. Don't let anybody think you are overreacting. Get help, because if you are not strong enough, you can't take care of that child, because it's a lifetime journey. It's through life. So really, you need to be strong enough to take care of that child. So get help if you need to, and just keep going. Don't stop at any moment. Keep going. I think that's really the summary of it. Keep going. And let me quickly drop this: your life shouldn't stop because of this situation. There's so many things you can still do even with the situation. So your life, make sure your life is not stopping. Make sure you're not drowning yourself in the situation. You're an individual first, even before the situation. And when the situation has even come, there's a reason for it. Maybe it's to make you stronger. Maybe it's even to open a new path for you. So please, as much as possible, let your life keep going. So carry yourself, carry this child along with your life. And I can assure you that, you'll be the best for it.